Hey, I'm Stephen Lewis, and I have been waiting for this for quite a while. If ever there was a movie to get people back into theaters, it just might be Spider-Man No Way Home. I promise no spoilers in this one. It is taking every ounce of restraint I have to not spoil this thing, but I'm not going to do it. I'll just give you the quick rundown, and then coming up later this weekend, after everybody's at least had a chance to see it, then I'm gonna let it fly and spoil the hell out of it. But for now, non-spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home. Probably the best Spider-Man movie of the bunch, and that's not an easy thing to say, that's for sure. Also, when it comes to movies like this, there is a lot of hype, a lot of expectations, and it has not been since Endgame, Avengers Endgame, that all of that hype and all of that expectation has been lived up to and exceeded. I'll leave it at that. It's funny, the same guy, Kevin Feige, in charge of both. Yes, Sony has some credit to this one, but this is all Marvel, baby, all Marvel. So let's start. Let's jump right in. Tom Holland back, Zendaya back, Jacob Batalon back, Benedict Cumberbatch returns as Doctor Strange, and we'll start right where literally the last movie ended, right where they out Spider-Man to the world, his secret identity as Peter Parker. Now, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, I don't feel bad about spoiling that one. It picks up right there, and we get started right away with the world knowing exactly who it is and all the problems that comes along with that, and it's making Peter's life extremely complex. Not only his life, it's really affecting those close to him. His Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei, and of course his best friend Ned, as well as his girlfriend MJ, aka Zendaya. So Peter wants to try to fix all that, but how can you? The world knows you're Spider-Man, and you become the most famous person in the world, and now you went from being flat broke to still being flat broke, only living the life of a celebrity when it comes to paparazzi and everything else going on. Which leads Peter to seek out Doctor Strange to try to change all that. None of that's spoiler. That's all been in the trailer. The basic gist of the movie is he asked the mad scientist, if you will, to create a spell to make people forget that he's Spider-Man. However, in the process, he starts to realize that, wait a minute, he kind of wants his girlfriend to know who he is. He kind of wants his Aunt May to still know who he is, and a select few other people. All of this ruins the spell, and you start to see villains from other Spider-Man universes coming into play. Again, you'll get Jamie Foxx back as Electro. You get the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe, again, as well as Sandman and the Lizard. All of this is in the trailer. None of this is a spoiler. The more intense part is how they actually get there, how they actually get back, and everything that's involved in that. And it's the whole kind of an old school story where be careful what you wish for, because there are always consequences. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You don't always get what you want. I'll leave it at that as far as spoilers go. With the universe opened up to the multiverse, it's kind of a live action of Into the Spider-Verse in a sense, and they have to kind of fix that to keep the fabric of reality together, if that makes any sense at all. It's a lot of comic book talk, but hey, this is a comic book movie, and a phenomenal one. Tom Holland is great as Peter Parker, as usual. And the funny thing is, over the course of the last week or so, he's been on quite the press tour for this movie, and he's dropped little hints here and there that when you see this all play out, you know, it put a smile on my face, because I was like, that's what he was talking about. So you'll get some hints here and there. He's great in the role of Peter Parker. He's believable. He is now signed on to do another 3 movies or more with both Marvel and Sony kind of in this conjecture, which I think is a good thing. I did a video about the whole inner web of the rights of Spider-Man and whatever, but I feel like the movie works better when Spider-Man is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because Spider-Man, much like Superman and Batman in the Warner Brothers DC world, Spider-Man is a flagship character. In fact, Spider-Man was always a bigger character than Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and every other character they've got going, so it makes sense that he gets to play around in that universe. I did not like the casting of Zendaya when it first happened. It was not my thing. It's nothing against her. I think she's phenomenal in some of the other stuff she's done, including Euphoria on HBO, but I just wasn't. I wanted Mary Jane Watson. I wanted the real, Spider-Man's girlfriend from the comics, and when you think Marvel is going to do a Spider-Man movie, they'll make it very comic book-ish. Well, MJ has grown on me over the last couple of movies, and I really like her. She's fun in this role. She's kind of made it her own as well. And the same thing with Ned. I thought all of his friends in the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie annoyed the piss out of me the entire time. But as you go through a couple of movies, they tend to grow on you. They become part of the family. And Doctor Strange in this is fantastic as well. Much like they did when Tony Stark was Iron Man in the first one, Doctor Strange does not overtake the movie. He's in it enough that it makes complete sense. It's fun when he's on the screen, but he doesn't dominate everything. It is still very much Spider-Man's movie in every sense of the word. There's some great stuff in there. Holland the other day said that the fights were the most violent of any Spider-Man movie. He ain't kidding. There is some brutal throwdowns in this one for sure. And the great thing about this as well, without spoiling anything, is a lot of the expectations are not only met, but the way they come into play, I think kind of exceeded a lot of the fan theories that are going on out there. So it is definitely watchable, and then some. It's a great movie. It's one of those that you have to see in the theater because it needs to be seen on like a 50-foot or more screen so you can see everything that's going on and feel everything that's going on. It's also very emotional. It packs some punch in a couple of places, which is at the core what Spider-Man's always been about. He's always been the hero who's done the right thing, and it never kind of goes right for him at the core. In the comic books, he's been up and down a lot. In the other movies, you know, he's kind of a lovable loser in a sense, and it's great. It doesn't necessarily set up the full next slate of Marvel movies like everybody might think it would, but it definitely opens a few doors here and there, and it is definitely worth spending your time and your money to see. I will post my full spoiler review a little bit later this weekend, but as of right now, though, I can say honestly, I absolutely loved Spider-Man No Way Home. It is my second or third favorite Marvel movie of all time. I put it right up there with Endgame, Winter Soldier, and then maybe this one. So it is definitely quality and then some. Worth your time to check out, and if you do check it out, remember, down in front.